Hello, so I am just going to be filming my everyday face and eye and just kind of everything I do to get ready in the morning before I go to work. By no means am I a makeup artist or professional. This is just kind of techniques that I've learned through YouTube videos, life, and just kind of how I like to apply things. So right now I'm wearing absolutely no makeup. It's a little bit terrifying, I have to admit, going online and not wearing anything, but this is kind of my face, so I'm kind of normal skin. I'm not super oily, not dry. I've got some like birthmarks and like blemishes that I'll need to cover up and kind of fill out my eyebrows, but yeah, so let's get started. So I'm going to start by using the Professional primer by Benefit, and I really like this. I do have pores, as does everyone, but I feel like mine are just a little bit bigger than everyone's. And so before this, I used Glam Glow's, it's the black cleanser, kind of exfoliate. And then I used a Clinique toner, number 2. And then I used Ole Henriksen Truth Serum Collagen Booster for my serum. And then I used Clinique's Dramatically Different Moisturizing Gel for my moisturization. I don't think I said that right, but and so now I always kind of focus a little bit on my nose because my nose is super pory. Yeah, that's a word. And I'm just going to take a little bit more. I don't use very much of this. It like, you can like blend it and it can just, a tiny bit can go everywhere. So I just make sure that anywhere I'm going to be putting makeup, that goes there. And so then I'm going to be using a color correcting today. I really like color correctors. I have really dark under eye circles. As you can tell, I've just have that eye shape that I'm always going to have kind of circles, but I want to try and minimize them. So before I put the color corrector on my eyes, I'm going to use my Smashbox Photo Finishing Hydrating Under Eye Primer. And this is one of the few under eye primers in the market. And I find that this really helps my foundation to stick and stay on. So I just kind of dab this under my eye a little bit. And I just use my fingers for this. And I bring it all the way up to the sides of my eye because I do also have really oily eyelids and the sides of my eyes. Right here, I have a really hard time. Like if I do a winged liner, usually it doesn't stay on super well unless I use some kind of primer. I don't know if other people have that problem, but I know I do. And then so my color correcting from under my eyes, I'm using kind of a peachy apricot color, and I'm using Algenesis concentrated color correcting drops. And this was actually one of the free samples that you can get if you order on Sephora. So I'm just going to take a small little drop, it's a little dropper, take a small little drop, share it between my both fingers, and kind of rub this in. And I do also own the Sephora brand product, and that one works really well too. I have it in peach and green, and this works very well. And you know what? I have to grab my green color. So I'm actually going to just take a little bit more of that Algenesis and put a little bit more in my under eyes. I don't think I used quite enough. So I'm just going to blend that in. As you can see, my dark under eye circles are already looking a little bit better. It's kind of the biggest pain point, I think, on my face. And then I'm going to take Sephora's Bright Future in green, and I'm going to put a little bit on my birthmarks that are kind of red, and maybe a little bit on some of my red blemishes. So I just dab it on there, and you get a decent amount of product. Could be better. And you know, I'm just looking a little bit red in a lot of places right now. I'm going to take my finger. I'm just going to kind of dab that in. And one thing with the green, as you can kind of see, is it kind of will mute that red, but it can also turn that whole area green. So it's really important that you blend that in really well, so when you put your foundation over it, that you are nice and blended. So it's really interesting to see how long it's going to take me to do my entire face. So for foundation, I'm going to use my Laura Mercier and Silk Cream Foundation in Rose Ivory. And I just love that color name, so I'm just going to take a little bit, pour pour it out onto my hand. This was like my favorite foundation for a little while. I'm gonna just dab it on. Make sure I put some on the tip of my nose, because sometimes that's like the area that you'll kind of forget about. So I'm going to take my Sigma F80 Kabuki and just kind of blend that in. This is like, Rose Ivory is kind of a light color. I think it's one of the lighter colors on the Laura Mercier spectrum of foundations. What? I'm feeling actually a tiny bit tan right now. But this is like, when I blend it out, it like perfectly matches, which is nice. Sometimes I wish I was a little bit tanner than I am, but you know, you are what you are. I've tried fake tanning and I don't know, it just doesn't look great on me. So let's see. And I kind of like to blend this in circles, and I'll kind of go everywhere one last time and make sure it's all blended in. And I really love this brush. I'm actually going to buy one for my mom for her birthday, but super easy. I think it's 24 bucks at Sigma, and just it works with every kind of product. So let's see. Okay, I'm fully blended. So now I'm going to take my normal kind of more fleshy toned concealer, and I'm going to use the applicator to put it on, but then I'll use a brush to kind of blend it in. So I'm just going to dab it on and kind of make that triangle shaped. My triangles usually end up being a little janky, I think is the term for that. But you know what? I think it turns out really well, usually. So I'm going to take a little bit right there, and a little bit here, and a tiny bit. I don't know if I'm going to contour my nose today. And then so what I like to do first before I go in with my concealer brush is pat it down with my finger. Sometimes I use a beauty blender for this, but typically I use my finger. Then I'm going to kind of carry this up into my eyelid too, because I have a slight hyperpigmentation on my eyelid, so I'm a little red and veiny up there. And so then I'm going to take my Marc Jacobs The Conceal brush and kind of dab all that in. Kind of go back over my eye too and kind of see, looks completely different from the other side. So I'll just go up here quickly and kind of dab that in. And let's see, take my concealer brush. And this concealer is pretty good. I like it. It's pretty cheap compared. So it's like $5.99 for NYX. It's like $14 for Sephora. And it's like $29 for NARS, and like $28 for Makeup Forever. So super good deal. And I think it's pretty good. I don't think it does good, but I think it does the job that you want it to do. So I'm going to take this and kind of blend it in. I used maybe a little bit too much concealer, but you know, I don't know if you can ever use too much concealer, let's be honest, especially when your under eye circles are usually as dark as mine. But so that looks good to me. It's all kind of blended in. I'm going to just take a little bit on my chin. So I like to also put a little bit of concealer. You notice I put it on my chin and right here. Those are the 2 points where I get the only points where I get a little bit oily on my face. Everywhere else is pretty good. So to set my under eyes, I am going to use my Real Techniques setting brush, and I'm going to use my Laura Mercier, it's got a fancy name, Secret Brightening Powder. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that, tap that excess off, set all of this. My cat is playing with my closet door. She just loves to do things when I'm filming. So I'm going to set the other side. Why are you trying to get in my closet? Little stinker. And so then up next, to kind of set my entire face before I go in and do blush, highlighter, bronzer, I'm going to use my Too Faced Cocoa Powder Foundation in Light. And I love this stuff. Not only does it smell like chocolate, but it's just really good and I really like it. So I'm going to take my Real Techniques powder brush and I'm just going to kind of blend that in everywhere. And I really like that it's not just like powder, like I do have translucent powders, but sometimes I just need that little bit of extra coverage that comes with using a powder, like a colored powder. And so that smell, I love it. So then up next, I'm going to use my Tantastic by Milani bronzer. I'm trying to figure out the best brush to use this with for this video. I'll use my Sigma F10 powder brush, and I'm just going to take some of this, and I'm going to try and just bronze my face a little bit. It's a little shimmery. Tap off the excess. Add some right there. Just kind of warm up my face a little bit. So I'm going to try and not make too many silly faces while filming this video. I'm going to take it, kind of bring it up here. It's got some shimmer on it, so I'm going to kind of take my foundation brush that I use and kind of carve out this part of my face that I don't want to have any shimmer on it at all. Carry it down a little bit. Okay. And I like this bronzer. It's pretty good for $11.99. And then for blush, I'm going to use the Pearlescent Pink by Wet n Wild. And I just think this is a really good blush for the price. I'm going to go back with my Sephora 79. And just tap a little on there. And as you can see, it's super pigmented. So you have to tap it off, definitely. Oh my god, it's crazy. Then I'm going to take my blush. Just apply it right to the apples of my cheeks. Just a really pretty color for a couple bucks at the drugstore. You can't beat it. Just make sure you tap it off because, again, super pigmented. And it's a little bit harder to blend than, like, say, a NARS, because it is super, super pigmented. I'm actually going to take my fluffy dual fiber brush and help blend that in a little bit. I think it looks nice. And so then I am going to take my MAC Soft and Gentle Mineralized Skin Finish, and I love this. It's one of my favorite MAC products. I'm going to take my Sigma F03 brush, highlight, a little bit more, highlight, feeling shiny. Oh, Cupid's bow. Take a little bit, and then I'm going to wipe it off and try and go down my nose, and I'm not giving you the middle finger, I promise. Let's see. And so that's kind of where I'm at for face right now. So I'm going to go and do my brows, because, yeah. I'm going to take the spoolie that comes with it, and I'm going to be using Smashbox's Brow Tech Gloss Stick. Never many people use Smashbox's. It's a little bit thicker than the Anastasia and a lot of other ones. If you're worried, I don't take a long time to do my brows. I do it pretty quickly. I kind of naturally have a decent brow already going, so that makes it a little bit easier. So I like to just kind of enhance it. As you can tell, I just kind of put it up. I'm not creating too much extra like size, like just kind of building what I already have. I don't know what you're supposed to say while you're doing your brows. Just filling them in. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. And you know, I just keep it simple. I don't do too much with my brows. I think I'm a little bit lucky. I think I have decent brows. And what are you doing? My cat is crazy. Okay, so up next is eyes. So I'm going to do a little bit of shadow. I'm going to use Smashbox's 24-hour Photo Finish Primer. I'm going to take a little bit, again, split it with both fingers, rub it on there, and even though I already used the concealer on there and I'd probably already be good for eyes, why not just add another product? And I think this helps it stay on longer. It's made for shadows opposed to a concealer that's made to conceal your blemishes and stuff. So I'm going to use the Milani palette for my eyes. So I'm going to take the brush out, and I'm going to use this light color right here, and I am going to use this one kind of as my base. So I'm going to just put it all over everywhere, back and forth. And for a brush, I'm using Sigma's E40. It's like the only brush that I like to use. I have like a ton of the ones that come in the Naked palettes, but I don't know, I don't really like them. I find this is a lot easier for blending. So I have that color, and then for the lid, I'm going to use this shiny color right here. Why not? It's Saturday. Rub this in. I feel like some moments when you're doing your makeup are just not very climactic. Rubbing this in my crease right now. And this is kind of a more shimmery shade. And then I'm going to take this kind of more browny taupe color, and this is going to be for the crease. Or I just did the crease. I'm going to do this kind of on the end over here to kind of create some smokiness and just a little bit of dimension, and I always like to have it be kind of ombre. Take it right there. Again, I'm trying to make the least amount of silly faces that I can. So I'm just doing simple eyes. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm going to take my Morphe E18 brush, put a little bit of that light color to kind of make my eyes pop. And so then I'm going to go onto the liner, and I'm going to use Lancome's Art Liner. And I don't know, I think this is a good eyeliner. It's pretty easy to build and to just, it's a different kind of brush. It's got like a really skinny tip to it. It's not like the larger ones like the Kat Von D Tattoo. So I'm not going to do anything too fancy today. And I usually start in the middle of my eye and I work my way out, and then I go back and I do the inner part, because by then I have a little bit less product and I just won't smear as much, and that's how I do it. And I just find that the middle of your eye is just the most forgiving place to start with your tip. This brush is so smooth and so easy to use. There we go. I'm looking a little bit different from the beginning of the video. So for my second to last step, I'm going to take my eyelash brush from Sephora, and I'm just going to comb through my bare lashes just to kind of get them unclumped. And I think this is like one of my favorite tools that not a lot of people seem to use, and I don't think it's sold very many places, but I like to kind of do this pre-mascara and even post-mascara. Like, it just helps to kind of build it and to make sure that you're not going to clump. So for my mascaras, I actually do a dual step, and mascara is kind of my thing. So I use the Josie Maran Argan Oil as kind of my primer, because it's not super thick and it's good for kind of conditioning my lashes a little bit, because there is argan oil in there. And then it just helps to get ready for the Vavavoom mascara. So I'm going to start off with my eyelash curler. And I'm going to just put it on, and then just pump it a couple times. And then go to the other eye. And so I'm going to start with the Josie Maran. And this one's not super thick. Make sure eyelashes thinner, but it's still like pretty nice. Like I would use this. I could use it by itself if I wanted a more natural look. I'm going to go in with the Kevyn Aucoin, the Essential Mascara, and this is my favorite mascara at the moment. It's fibers in it, and it's just super great. It makes it super volumizing, and I love it. I have a ton of samples that I got from Sephora. So, do exactly what I did over there. And I don't know, I actually had this mascara in a little travel size that I bought in like a Sephora kit. And it's a lot better than the full size tube. Let me know below if you think that like the travel size mascaras are always better than the full size. They just don't clump as much, and they just seem to live up to expectations. I don't know if that's usually because they're free or a lot cheaper. But like this mascara is just like va-va-voom. I love it. And so for my last step, I'm going to go in with NARS Dolce Vita. And it's such a light color that I didn't think I needed a liner for it. I think it's a really pretty color. I'm gonna put my hair down, fluff it up. And so this is my final look. So this is kind of just what I wear on a daily basis. It's like my natural look. So I hope you learned something and enjoyed it. And my cat didn't show up this time, but she might again. So bye. Let's see. I'll show you all the products I use. I don't think I can hold them all. Bye.